Well, I just thought I'd show you what I'm up to at the moment. I thought I wouldn't mind a little test track, and what better way to have a test track than one that's scenic. Hello and welcome back to Woodhill Park. Well, I just thought I'd show you what I'm up to at the moment. I thought I wouldn't mind a little test track, and what better way to have a test track than one that's scenic. So I fancy making myself out of a load of old junk, you know, offcuts from doing the layout in the past. I'm just gonna use some hot melt glue, which sticks really well, so I don't need to screw this together really. And to keep it lightweight, it's just, I think it's 9mm ply. It's actually wrote on it actually. Yeah, 9mm ply as a base, and then I think this is 9mm as well, an offcut of a peculiar shape, but will be great for the back sort of track that runs along the back of the embankment. And I fancy having a little cattle bridge under here and just landscaping all this in front, and just having this as a sort of diorama come test track that I can move around and take anywhere if I want. So it's just a load of old junk. I thought I'd make use of it, so that's what I'm going to do. Right, so I'm going to get started by gluing these blocks into place. Start up the far end. I may well get in the way, so you have to excuse me as I can't keep looking around to see where the camera is. Don't need a lot, this stuff sticks really well. Just take that on the edge. And that's the beginning of a little diorama. Well, I've done a bit off camera, and all I've done really is just start the beginnings of this cattle bridge, which is just a wheels kit and reasonably easily assembled. And I've just sort of worked out roughly where it's going to go, and I've actually stuck it in with hot melt glue as well, but I shall probably reinforce it with other stuff as well, and it just gives me an idea of where I'm going to work to with the landscape. So it's a question of insulating foam now. which I've just stuck, I haven't stuck it yet, stick in place roughly and then carve out roughly. So that's what I'm going to do next. It's all just a question of calming it now and making a bigger mess, but it's easily vacuumed up and easily cleaned up. It can affect your skin if you're not careful. I'm lucky it doesn't seem to have any reaction on my skin, but you might want to protect yourself. But yeah, it's just carve away. Well, I've moved on a bit now, and I've still got more carving to do, but I've just got the basic shape, and I want to glue some cork down and then put some track on here, and that's what I'm going to do. Glue the cork down with Copydex and put some weights on it, because I want a track bed just to give a more sort of three-dimensional look at the track. So I now have to find some pieces of wood I can put weights on top to hold it down once I've glued it. So get some Copydex and glue it down. I prefer, if it stays still, to put the glue on the cork rather than on the wood. But, stays, see if it plays ball. It stays there. A couple of weights on it, so helps it do that. Yeah, and then a liberal amount Copydex. And my Copydex is running out. But I can just about reach it with a brush in this great big bottle. I don't know why they don't have longer brushes. They always seem to have the same size brush no matter what size bottle you've got. But never mind, it is good stuff. So you have to tip it over to get it on the brush. I'm now starting to glue the track down after drilling a couple of holes and putting a couple of feed wires through. I put copy decks on the sleepers underneath when I glue the track down, as you only coat what you need, which is the bottom of the sleepers. Some people, for some strange reason, put copy decks all over the track bed, which you use more copy decks than you need, plus you get it all over the cork, which I don't think's great, because you're going to put ballast on it, so you don't want lumps of copy decks under it really, but primarily it's just a waste. And covering the sleepers, in my mind, is just more logical. It's just an observation that I seem to see people not do the sleepers, they do the track bed, as I said. Maybe somebody can tell me why it's better. I don't think it is. In my opinion, of course. And somewhere I've got a track setter that I put down here ready to go. And I've buried it. Always the way. You put something down and you lose it. It's here, it's under my nose. Now there it is. Right, track setter. Even though it is set track, it should be straight, but it doesn't hurt to straighten the two together with a track setter. Just lay these down and then I'll put the odd pin in afterwards. You don't need pins, but as I said, this track's got holes in it for pins anyway, so I'll either fill the holes up or I'll put pins in. And to be honest, once you put a pin in it, as long as it's not too proud, you don't really notice it that much. For some reason the old Pico pins are, I think they were Hornby pins, were far better than the new Hornby pins. The new Hornby pins are too proud, so I use the old ones if I can get hold of them, because they've got flatter heads and they disappear when you paint the sleepers. Right, I think that's alright. Weigh it down. Make sure they're pushed up, that's it. No gaps. Oops. A small piece up here. And then I'll leave that for a while. Should dry fairly quick because it's hot up here. Just quickly, if you doubted that hot melt glue is that strong, I'll just show you where I've got some blobs on this, because I had the gun here and it's dripped. I pulled one off and it's taken the lamination off. So it means this glue is stronger than the glue for the lamination. So pull it off. Or maybe not that bit. One of these pieces. You can see how strong it is at holding on. There we are. don't know if you can see that, it's just pulled the lamination off the board. It's on the bottom of the glue, so it's definitely damn strong enough. It actually ruins the plyboard if you actually get drips all over it, but there's no way that's coming apart. So I can quite happily pick this up and carry it around. Maybe some of the stuff I add to it will be a bit delicate, but I'll try and keep that to a minimum. But the actual build itself is nice and lightweight, plus very strong, and it's not going to come apart. Well, I'm back up in the loft and I've been carving away again, and I've pretty much finished. I've put the retaining walls in for the cattle underpass, you would call it. So I've levelled these, not levelled them, I've sloped them better than they were as I want. Not flat land in front, but some lower land as well. I don't know whether I might have a stone wall at the bottom here or a fence or whatever, but it gives me a chance to do something different with this, so create sort of more depth to it. So now I'm going to get the I think I'm using a bit of plaster cloth just to make it a bit stronger, being I'm going to move it around, but predominantly sculpt mould. So I'll get on with that in a minute. Right, I haven't done this for a while because I don't use plaster cloth very often. It's been years since I've used it, but I've got me tray of water down here and the cloth, and I'll dunk it in and make a start. Well, I've put the plaster cloth on, and this is almost dry, and this side is pretty much dry. It doesn't matter if it's slightly damp because I'm putting damp sculpt mould on top of it anyway. So this is to give it some strength, and this is just to sort of contour the landscape. So I better get on with it. I love using this stuff, absolutely brilliant. No landscaping is complete without sculpt mould. Just an even covering, not too thick. Just going to bring it up to the track bed, which I left a bit lower so I can take the sculpt mould up to it. Right, I'm back again, and I'm just showing you a bit. I'm just going up against the wall here, smoothing the sculpt mould up against it and trying to melt the wall into the landscape. It doesn't matter if you get it on the wall because it will wash off or clean off. Don't really want to add water to it. once it's dry. So making the wall just melt into the landscape. Like it's been here holding this land back for a long time. Well, that's the idea anyway. I've pretty much finished it now. I finished off with a little bit of smoothing with some water on my hands, but not too much. I didn't really need to do that much. So still a little bit damp here and there, and you can move it around with your fingers if you're not careful. So I'm going to leave it, not play with it, and let it dry. And I'll clean all these things up later. You clean these up with just a drop of water, and I'm very pleased with it. Very good job, I think, and I enjoyed it. I do like using the stuff, as I keep saying. I find this process really enjoyable. So it's not that frightening to do. Once you get stuck in, it's amazing how you can sort of get quite arty with it. Right, I think I'll be leaving that to dry overnight, and then it'll be a case of painting it. Painting, but it's almost dry to touch, and I'm going to start using some neat PVA to spread across the embankment. Now it's time to add the first scatter. And I'm using Lily Turf to start with. I've now put all the scatter on, including some coarse turf, and just built it up in layers, and I'm leaving the cattle track or cattle bridge clear so I can work on this. There's going to be a muddy sort of entrance to it. I'm now going to ballast it with a dirty brown ballast with my ballast spreader. Not to forget the trusty makeup brush. Now I'm going to hold the ballast down with 50-50 PVA to the top, washing up liquid, and spray the ballast. Try not to displace it with some IPA. Need to do it in small sections, otherwise it dries out too quick. I've done a bit more since, and I've had a bit more greenery around the bridge, and glued the bridge on. Also the muddy tracks underneath, added some coarse turf bits and pieces to represent weeds and grass growing in between the muddy tracks going under the bridge. I then sprayed it with a watered down PVA to hopefully harden the plaster that's got the track marks in, and continued to sort of finish it off. And it's ballasted now, and I will get the airbrush out once it's dry and airbrush the track. and then it will be static grass and bushes and other sort of scattering stuff. As it stands, it's a good way to being on the way to being finished. Just going to let all this lot dry now. So I've done a lot in one go, so there's just a load of drying time needed now, and hopefully the loft being as warm as it is will speed up the drying time. Also going to sort of rust up the bridge a little bit, so paints, airbrush, loads of stuff detailing wise you can do. It's not just locos and other stuff you can detail, it's nature itself you can detail. It's wonderful playing about, seeing what you can do to make things look a bit more real. I don't know if that's a word. A bit more authentic might be better. Right, things are looking quite dry now, as it's been hot all day up here and the fan's been blowing on it. So I've now got some 50/50 PVA just watered down and dropped randomly on the hillside, and I've got a mixture of grasses, and I'm going to get static grass in. Right, I'm also ready to spray the track with some leather brown Vallejo, just to dirty up the sleepers. Right, that's it. That's as far as I'm taking it at the moment. I can add more foliage, more bushes, maybe a tree, all sorts of things really. I mean, you can add, you know, rabbits, foxes, whatever. Detailing can continue really. I'll add things as I come across them. But this has worked out to be a nice little test track, and something that will be handy in the future for demoing things, and to just use it as a nice little diorama. And I'm very pleased with the way it's come out, and I will continue to improve it. it's getting rather warm up here, and I think I'll draw this video to a close and think about the bushes and maybe the stone warning I'm going to add to this little sort of diorama. But as you can see, I've added some real water to make sort of wet puddles and tracks that go under the bridge, just to give it that sort of damp look that maybe it rained a little while ago. Anyway, I think I'll bring this to an end, like I said, and say thank you very much for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you again next time, and hopefully I'll have a bit more to show you what I've done with this little diorama. So bye for now, cheers.